going on, everybody? Welcome back to another LEGO YouTube video. Today we are back in the old LEGO room as I am back from fall break, so I'm really excited to film some more videos inside of this old setup. I'm going to try and stack up a bunch of videos for you guys over the next couple of weeks just so that I can make the most of being in this space for my fall break, and I'm really excited to make some new videos here. So in today's video, I thought it would be a fun idea to kind of do an updated ranking of my 10 biggest sets in my LEGO collection, because the last time I did this was about a year ago, and even though it's only been a year, I feel like I've added so many massive LEGO sets into my collection, and it's kind of fun to go through all of these ones, especially since I don't see them every day. So let's just go ahead and get straight into the list. We're going to start off here with some of my honorable mentions that barely missed the top 10. And so at the number 10 spot, we have the recently retired LEGO Assembly Square modular building with 3,966 pieces, and it actually does sit on 1.5 base plates, which is probably one of the biggest reasons as to why this is the second biggest LEGO modular building ever released and why it is on this list. I love all of the detail in this set, and you can definitely see how it has so many pieces, as there's 3 separate buildings inside of this entire set, and there's tons of details inside of each building too, including the interior, so it definitely claims the spot as the number 10 biggest LEGO set in my collection. And then at the number 9 spot, we actually have the most recent modular building, which barely dethrones the Assembly Square as the biggest LEGO modular building to date. And this one, again, also sits on 1.5 base plates, which definitely contributes to its massive piece count and also just massive size of the modular building too. And it's one of my favorites. I love the rooftop over here with the glass window panes, and there's tons of interior details as well as exterior details too, with all of the columns and the unique roof design. And there's also exterior details such as the window cleaner and some of the kind of landscaping that we see with the cherry blossom tree, tons of other details along the side of the museum too. And this is probably one of the deepest modular buildings ever released too, and it is easily one of my favorites and also the biggest one that they have released as of recording this video. And then at the number 8 spot, we have probably one of my favorite LEGO sets that I've bought in the past year. It is the Lion Knights Castle, and I never really saw myself getting this LEGO set, but I'm so happy I did, and it truly is a huge LEGO set, and it takes up a ton of shelf space in my LEGO collection. As you can see here, it basically takes up an entire shelf all by itself when it's fully extended, and you can just see how massive this set is. The camera doesn't really do it too much justice. I feel like seeing it in person definitely lets you appreciate it a lot more, but it's one of the longest LEGO sets that I have in my collection, probably about the same size as the UCS Venator, if not maybe a bit larger. And there's tons of interior details, which of course contribute to the piece count. And then of course when you look at the exterior, you're able to see all of the small greebling details and just all of the other Easter eggs that like definitely contribute to its piece count. And then at the number 7 spot, we of course have the LEGO Marvel Avengers Tower, which is the most recent addition to the LEGO Marvel rendition of the modular buildings, and it is probably my favorite, though I kind of go back and forth between this and the Daily Bugle every day. But as you can see, this is probably the most demanding out of them. It's the most noticeable just because of how tall it is, and you can just see how many window pieces they actually use inside of this set. There's tons of interior details too, which of course boost up that piece count as well, and it literally climbs all the way up to the shelf above my door, which just speaks to how big of a LEGO set this is. And it's one of the biggest ones in my LEGO collection, and a lot of the other ones on this list barely beat the piece count of the Avengers Tower. And then at the number 6 spot, we have the UCS Venator, which I actually got around this time last year. I can't believe it's already been a year since this massive LEGO Star Wars set released, and it's easily one of my favorites, and it definitely takes up the most space, I would say, out of all of my other LEGO UCS sets, just because of how long it is, and it's so hard to find the perfect spot to display a set like this, especially when it's super deep too. I feel like just finding a place to put this was harder than actually constructing it. But there's tons of greebling around the side of it. Even though there's no interior details, I feel like it's easy to see why this is one of the most massive LEGO Star Wars sets on shelves, just because of the sheer size that we're able to see from this shot over here. And then at the number 5 spot, we have LEGO Ninjago City Gardens, and for the longest time, this actually was the biggest LEGO set I had in my collection, if we're looking solely on piece count. However, after I got this set, I feel like my collection really skyrocketed, and I just started buying more and more expensive sets, so it slowly got dethroned to the number 1 spot, and now it sits at number 5. But just admiring all of the exterior details, you're able to see just how massive of a LEGO Ninjago set this is. It has several stories and also takes up 1.5 base plates too, and leaves a very big footprint, I feel like, on some of my shelves. So it's kind of crazy that this is only at the number 5 spot now, but still one of my biggest LEGO sets. And then at the number 4 spot, we have the LEGO Ninjago City Markets, which actually released last year and is the replacement to Ninjago City Gardens, as the Ninjago City Gardens are retiring at the end of the year, so definitely pick up that set if you haven't already. However, what separates this from the Ninjago City Gardens is that it does have about 500 more pieces, but also it takes up 2 entire base plates instead of just the 1.5 that the Ninjago City Gardens takes up. In addition to that, it also has several different stories and interior details inside of each of the different shops, which contributes heavily to its piece count, and it's just one of the biggest LEGO sets I have in my collection, because there's no modular building I've ever had that takes up 2 entire base plates and is also this tall too. So I'm honestly surprised this isn't higher up on the list. And then at the number 3 spot, we have the only LEGO Star Wars UCS set that I impulse bought, which is of course the UCS Razor Crest. If you remember from around this time last year, LEGO had a huge sale on the UCS Razor Crest and the UCS Gunship, and I took advantage of that and finally added this to the LEGO collection, and I'm very happy that I did. And this one definitely looks a lot bigger in person than it does on camera, which is something I realized after I finished building it, and I kind of was scrambling to find a place for it. But now that I do have the perfect spot for it in my LEGO collection, I'm very impressed by the sheer amount of detail and just the size of the Razor Crest. It truly is one of the biggest LEGO Star Wars UCS sets out there. I want to say it's the 3rd biggest still by piece count, though I could be wrong, but definitely one of the most impressive and largest LEGO sets inside of my LEGO Star Wars collection and just in my LEGO collection period, and well deserving of the number 3 spot. And then at the number 2 spot, we of course have the LEGO Star Wars UCS AT-AT, which is the 2nd most expensive, I guess tied with number 1 for the most expensive LEGO Star Wars set, at least if you consider it by retail price, which this guy comes in at $850, and I think it retires at the end of the year, so if you are interested in this set, definitely pick it up as soon as you can. I have nothing but positive things to say about the UCS AT-AT. I feel like just the detail and the footage speaks for itself as to just how detailed and how massive of a LEGO Star Wars set this is. I feel like the building process was a lot of fun to put this together. There's so much detail inside of it, and it's one of the tallest LEGO sets I have in my collection. It's funny how this is almost as tall as the Avengers Tower and the Daily Bugle, even though it is literally just a LEGO Star Wars set. You don't really expect that too much, and it kind of puts the 40th anniversary one to shame, given they are 2 extremely different LEGO sets, so you can't really compare them, but I feel like it's easy to see why this is at the number 2 spot for my biggest LEGO Star Wars sets, and just LEGO sets in general, just because it is also one of the most expensive ones, and one I'm very happy to have. And no surprise at all, of course, the number 1 biggest LEGO set in my collection for now is the LEGO Star Wars UCS Millennium Falcon. This guy, of course, has about 1,000 more pieces than the UCS AT-AT, and it's kind of funny because it's the same exact price, but I just put my hand up against it just to give you guys a better idea as to how massive this set is. The camera, again, really just doesn't do it justice. You have to see it in person to really get an idea as to how big of a set it is. But not only is it probably one of the longest LEGO sets in my collection, it's also very tall if you kind of have it displayed at this angle here, and it's got some depth to it too, and it does also include somewhat of an interior, though I do wish it had some more interior details for that $850 price tag. But this set, I feel like, definitely does have the biggest footprint of any other LEGO set in my collection. I kind of had to build displays around the UCS Millennium Falcon just because of how big it is. And it is, I think, one of the top 10 biggest LEGO sets, period. As of recording this video, I think it ranks in the number 3 or the number 4 spot by piece count, but that is my list for the 10 biggest LEGO sets inside of my LEGO collection. I did, again, go by piece count, as there are definitely a couple of other LEGO sets that are very, very big and take up a lot of space, but they just don't have as many pieces as some of the other LEGO sets on this list. So definitely let me know down in the comments what you thought of my 10 biggest LEGO sets in my LEGO collection. Leave a comment down below letting me know what your biggest LEGO set is in your collection, and be sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video and subscribe if you are new around here. But that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Bye.